How you doing, guys? Welcome back to another video. So the other day I was kind of laying out some frameworks for some places that I wanted to make sure I ended up this year, and I kind of started going through my checklist, and it got me thinking, man, I wish I would have thought of some of this stuff or really planned on doing some of this when I first got to Thailand. Now don't get me wrong, I like to just go with the flow a lot of the time, but there are a few things I think you should have set up before you get to Thailand. That way you can make sure, one, you're safe, and two, you have a good time as soon as you land. Now a few of these might be obvious to some, and honestly some of you could probably get away with not doing, but the last two are things you definitely don't want to sleep on. You want to make sure you have them set up, and honestly I feel like a lot of people forget about it. So let's hop right into it. Okay, so number one, I kind of like got it half done. I did it about half as well as I should have. Now if you don't do this at all, will you come to Thailand and will you survive? Yeah, you'll be fine. But if you do this, well, it make your Thailand experience a little bit more involved, in my opinion. It'll make things a little bit easier and people will appreciate it. And that is just really learning two things about Thailand to the best extent that you can before you get here. And those two things are the food and Thai language. With Thai language, I mean just learning how to say thank you and ask where things are, asking how much things cost is gonna really go a long way to, one, kind of helping you immerse in your culture, and two, Thai people will just appreciate it. Now if you're going to the touristy areas, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be able to get by with English, but I feel like if you just know a little bit of Thai, it can kind of make communication a little bit more fun, can make you feel like you're giving a better effort, which at least for me makes me feel better about the whole interaction. And with Thai food, we've all heard and know that it's amazing, but honestly, especially if you've never really been into seafood big time, it can be a little intimidating when you first start out. There's so much of it, and things of course are way different than home. Doing a little bit at home to kind of understand the flavors that you like is gonna help you when you come to ordering stuff here, not only getting those things that you like, but when you go and make an effort to try new things. And this is especially important if you don't like spicy food. Now there's plenty of Thai food that's not spicy, but if you make an effort to figure that out before you get here, it's gonna make your life a whole lot easier when you do arrive in Thailand. And having a bit of a gauge on what you do enjoy is gonna help when you get here, because I see a lot of people, myself included, you kind of show up, you find maybe 1 or 2 things that you enjoy, and then it's kind of intimidating to try other new stuff, so you end up just ordering the same thing over and over, and then you get burnt out on it. So let's not do that. Now the second one I think is really important, especially if you're moving here. If you're just coming for a few weeks on vacation, not too big a deal really. But I think that is, it's good to make plans to travel around Thailand as much as you can, especially when you first get here. Now even if you've kind of already decided on where you think you want to stay, it's very possible that you're going to be surprised by some places that you might not have had on your list before. I'm really glad in the past few months I've made more of an effort to go to some places that I didn't really plan on when I first got here. I'm not saying I didn't want to, but they just weren't really at the top of the list. So if you are planning on moving here, I think you should make a list of places to go, because you never know when you first get here, you might be like, oh, well, I want to stay in Bangkok because XYZ. And then once you get there, or maybe you go to a different city, you might kind of realize that you like one spot more than the other one. And if anything, at least gives you more of an immersive experience right when you first get here. I just want to take a quick break to wish everybody a happy new year. It is officially 2024. It is January 2nd. Here in Thailand, it might be January 1st where you're at. On a scale of 1 to 10, let me know how hungover you are in the comments. I hope everybody had a good time. Hopefully everybody stayed safe. I hope everyone had a good holiday in general. When it comes to YouTube, they do this really cool yearly recap. So I got to look back at everything that you and I accomplished in 2023 when it comes to Tempus TV, and it kind of blew my mind, honestly. I had set some goals initially when we first started out, and we blew by the majority of those. And just all around, it was a great year for us, the community, and the channel. It was super awesome. I can't thank you guys enough for the continued support. You hear it all the time here on YouTube that you are the ones that make this possible, but that is because it's true. If you guys don't watch, you guys don't share, comment, like, this isn't possible. I'm really happy that hopefully I can answer some questions for you, and I'm really happy that you give me the opportunity to do it from such an amazing place like Thailand. Now in celebration, I've set some other goals for 2024. Gotta keep raising the bar to make sure that we're constantly moving forward. And the first one of those is reaching 25,000 subscribers. Now I know there's quite a few of you that do enjoy the content, but unfortunately you are not subscribed. This isn't too big of a deal. Watching is watching. I appreciate it regardless. But there are a few things when it comes to sponsorships and things like that. They look at subscriber numbers. It's just part of the game. So if you want to consider subscribing, it does help me out big time, and I really would appreciate it. And you'll continue to be updated every time I upload a new video talking about everything Thailand. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have an amazing 2024. I hope you have some goals set for yourself as well. And we are off to the races. Let's go. Let's hop back into the video. Now our next one is one that I did not prepare for, and my first week here was pretty rough because of it. Now another one, will you survive if you don't do this? Yes, most likely, but honestly you're gonna be kind of miserable. And it's gonna take some things off the table realistically. Now a little backstory, I'm from America, I came from Arizona, Phoenix. In the summer, super hot, 115, 120 degrees for like 4 months out of the year. And I'm sure you know by now, everybody talks about it, Thailand is hot. So me coming from the desert, I was like, oh, it's hot. I'm used to it. Of course, Thailand, completely different, especially coming from Arizona. I am not used to the humidity. It is hot as balls. Now, if you're from the South, Florida, Louisiana, you'll probably be a little more prepared for it because it gets hot down there as well. And it's humid. But a big thing that I think you should bring with you is the proper clothes. Cotton and denim pretty much just are the flat out enemy. Now I know I'm wearing a cotton shirt right now, but it does cool off a little bit about this time, not by much, but enough to not be miserable. Personally, I go for like the dry fit athletic wear if I'm actually out during the day. It's nice, one, just because it's cooler, and when you do sweat, it actually cools you off a little bit. This time of year in Thailand, there's a breeze usually, which really helps. But in the rainy season, one, it's more humid and the breeze essentially just goes away. So you're just sweating, stays on you, you're sticky, especially if you're trying to wear like a white cotton shirt. I still make the mistake every once in a while. You're just gonna sweat through it. You're gonna look like a grimy bum. So do your best to bring the right clothes with you. No, you're not gonna need a hoodie. Maybe for the mall or the airport, something like that. But on your day-to-day, you're not gonna need a hoodie. You're not gonna need jeans. Now these last two are ones that I feel like you really shouldn't skip out on. One is for your safety, and the other one is to just ensure that you don't get a bad taste in your mouth when it comes to Thailand. And I see a lot of people do it. I've definitely had moments myself when I did it, and I feel like it's a good thing to just avoid in general, kind of be ready for it before you even get here. The first of those two is health insurance. Now I'm sure you've seen, I've made videos about it. Healthcare in Thailand generally is much cheaper, but for certain things, or if you're really sick or you get really hurt, it can add up super fast. If you're a little bit older and you need more constant care, you need something you have to keep up with, obviously that can add up quick. So health insurance is one that just kind of seems like an obvious one to me, but I know there's people that want to save the money, and you can go the super cheap route and just get like a travel insurance. But especially if you're living here, there's things that might come up that probably aren't going to be covered by a lot of those policies. I figured that out when I got into a motorbike accident here. My policy didn't cover me for MRIs or x-rays, so I had to go in, get another one, add that on real quick. But it's a good idea to just source this before you even get here. If you've already got it set up in the States, rad, it's more than likely going to be able to be used here, but that's something to double check on. I feel like it's like tattoos or buying a car. You get what you pay for. Like really cheap insurance generally is not really worth it. Pay that extra 20 or 30 bucks a month for the peace of mind. And that way, if anything does happen, you're set up. And not to mention, you end up adding all your contacts and everything in there. So if something happens to you and people need to find the people that give a shit about you, they can do that. Oh, and the big one I have to remind myself of every once in a while, and I have seen it, I have heard it, I've watched it happen to people multiple times, and it ends up just really leaving a kind of biased, bad taste in your mouth about things that don't really have anything to do with the problem. So probably the most important thing you can bring with you on your trip to Thailand, whether you're moving here, whether you're coming on vacation, is just a good attitude and an understanding that things are gonna be different. Now, of course, I know you guys aren't stupid. You understand that going to Thailand, especially from America, things are gonna be different. But from what I've seen in other people's experience and myself is just the grasp of how different everything is. Now don't get me wrong, there's some things or some systems in America that we do have that you might miss a little bit when you get to Thailand. There might be days where you're trying to get certain things done, or the way you have to go about stuff can just be a little bit frustrating compared to what you're used to at home. So I feel like it's really important to kind of start to wrap your mind around this before you even get on the plane. That way when you do get here and these things come up, you can kind of remind yourself to just embrace the suck, I guess you could say. In my experience, there's way more positives than there are negatives to traveling in general, in Thailand especially. So that's just part of life, right? You got to give some to get some. If you are planning on coming here, especially moving here, I assume there's a big part of you that wants change. So just make sure that you're constantly reminding yourself to embrace that. And I'm definitely a creature of habit. So sometimes change can be a little bit rough, but once you do get through it, at least with me, it makes me feel a lot better about the whole thing. So that is my 5 essentials that you should have set up or bring with you when you come to Thailand. And like we said, you can do none of this and you'll probably survive. But if you do all of them, or at least a few of them, I feel like your trip's gonna be a whole lot better. You're gonna spend more time enjoying yourself instead of feeling pretty miserable. Thank you guys for tuning in to another video. Like we said earlier, I want to wish you another happy New Year's. I hope everybody has some cool things set up for 2024. I've definitely got some cool things in the works for the channel, so if you haven't yet, make sure you go ahead, drop down and subscribe. And like we always say, I hope you guys have a great day. We'll catch you in the next one.